Hi, welcome to Logic Basics. Last time we talked about reason, the laws of thought. We defined reason in terms of the laws of thought, which are the law of identity, which says A is A, the law of non-contradiction, which says something is not both A and non-A in the same respect and at the same time, and the law of excluded middle, which says that something is either A or it is non-A. In this video, we're going to talk about reason in its use. How do we use these laws? The laws of thought are the foundation for logic, and so this first use is going to be an outline of the entire logic study. So let's look at reason in its use, number 1. All right, so first, reason is used to form concepts, judgments, and arguments. And these are the forms of all thought. Okay, so this will make a distinction between thinking and non-thinking. All right, let's talk about concepts first. Let's get the concept of concept. In fact, our study will be divided into the study of concepts and judgments and arguments. Once we get into judgments and arguments, it'll be more formal logic. Right now we're doing informal logic. All right, back to concepts. In forming concepts, the mind grasps the essential nature of a thing. It gets at what it is and what distinguishes it from all other things. So when we grasp the concept, we're grasping what something is. So concepts are in the mind, and they're grasped from some aspect of reality. Concepts are expressed by words or terms or other symbols. Concepts can be meaningful, or they could lack meaning for me. Here's an example. I heard this word Googleplex. I don't know what a Googleplex is. I haven't grasped the concept that that word expresses. All right, so we can hear words that we don't understand because we haven't grasped the concept. So notice concept has to do with understanding the meaning of something. Now, as you go through this study, there will be words maybe you've never heard before. What do we do when we don't understand a word? We look it up, right? And a definition should give us something of the nature of the reality we're trying to understand. So I could look up Googleplex and try to understand what that is, right? All right, judgments are when we put together two concepts and we either affirm or deny those concepts. For example, the car is in the parking lot. Now we have this concept car and parking lot, and it's joined together with an is. Onions are not tasty. That's another judgment, right? We have onions as one concept. Are not is what joins them. Tasty is our second concept. God is a being that exists. That is a judgment, right? All of these judgments can be tested. They're either true or false. I guess some judgments are matters of opinion, but the kind we're interested in logic are those that are either true or false. The car is in the parking lot is either true or false. God is a being that exists is either true or false. Now, how would we know if they're true or false, though, right? True means it corresponds with reality. So the way we get to what is true is through an argument. Now, sometimes people think arguments are bad. I don't want to get into an argument. An argument in logic is a way of supporting our judgments. So judgments are either true or false, which means we can prove it. Arguments are how we prove it, and logic is the tool for assessing arguments. They could be either valid and or sound. A valid argument is where the premises of an argument logically support the conclusion. It's in good form. Now, we want an argument to be valid, but we also want it to be sound, which means the premises are true. So let me give you an example. A very famous argument that probably all logic courses use is this one. Premise 1. All men are mortal. Premise 2. Socrates is a man. Conclusion. Therefore, Socrates is mortal, right? All men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Socrates is mortal. So we have a form of an argument. That one is a valid argument form. We'll find out later. It's Barbara. And it is sound. The premises are true. So the conclusion is necessarily true. And that's what we're looking for in logic. Arguments where the conclusion is a necessary truth. Now, We'll talk more about that as we go on. That will be a whole section of the logic study. All right, second point on this handout is that reason is used as a test for meaning. Remember, we talked about the purpose of logic is finding meaning and settling disputes. So the test for meaning is like critical thinking. And we'll find out that meaning is logically prior or is more basic than truth. So we want to find out what something means before we can say whether it's true or not. So when we make a judgment, let's say justice is a good to be pursued. Okay, that's a judgment. We need to break that down into smaller parts. What is justice? What is that concept expressing? What is the nature of that reality? And why is it a good to be pursued? So we need to break it down. We need to say, what does that mean before we can say whether it is true or not? All right, the handout also says that if a law of reason is violated, there is no meaning. Okay, so if we violate a law of thought, let's say, for example, the law of non-contradiction, then there is no meaning. It's a meaningless statement. Why? Contradictory statements are saying A and non-A in the same respect and at the same time, and that's meaningless. So we'll say that something can be meaningless in two ways. The first way was like the Googleplex example. I don't know what that means. The second way is that it violates a law of thought. It's saying A and non-A at the same time. So we have to be able to test things for meaning. This is going to be really important in our public discourse today, where people are making a lot of judgments and getting angry with each other, but they haven't backed up and said, what do you mean by that? All right, now, the other part of this says, wherever there is meaning, reason is being used. And when reason is being used, we should rejoice. It's a really great thing. Okay, reason is used as a test for meaning. Meaning is more basic than truth. The very first thing we're going to do in this class, always, is what does that mean? All right, let's look at the next one. Reason is used to interpret or give meaning, there's that word again, to one's experience in light of one's basic beliefs. So if we're thinking presuppositionally, this means that our basic beliefs are logically prior to our experience or the meaning of our experience. We're going to have to talk about this one a lot. In class, I draw a picture of a house, and at the foundation level is your basic belief, and then the house is structured on that foundation, and this house is your world and life view. And then I draw a picture of you in the window of the house looking out, but experiences are coming in through that window, and you have to make sense of them. And you make sense of them in light of your basic beliefs. Now, we're going to talk more about basic beliefs, but they're about what is real, what is eternal, what is a human being. Philosophical beliefs. So all of our experiences, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, are interpreted by reason in light of our basic beliefs. So right now you're hearing sounds and you're making sense of them. You're using reason right now. All right, the last one is that reason is used to construct a coherent world and life view. Just like I was saying, we have the ground, and on this ground we can lay a foundation and build a house. Now the ground we want to be secure. The ground should be solid. It should be rock. And hopefully that ground will be reason. And if we build on reason, then our basic belief will have rational justification. We'll have an argument for our basic beliefs. And then we can build a world and life view that is coherent. All the parts make sense when we put them together. So reason is used to construct a coherent world and life view, that there are no contradictions in the system of our belief. Now hopefully as we go along, this will become more and more clear. And we'll pause here. The next topic will be reason in us. How is reason an aspect of human nature? This will be hopeful for us. So we'll see you in the next video.